Here's a quick reminder that you can't just do whatever you want to do wherever you want to do it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the son of an Israeli diplomat being denied diplomatic immunity after striking a police officer with his motorcycle. Now, there's a lot to this story, and before we get to the actual news clip, let's back up a little bit here to explain what's going on. Now, back in January of this year, 2024, 19-year-old Abraham Eli was on a motorcycle on Sunny Isles Beach in Miami, Florida. About 3:30 p.m., he's driving at a high rate of speed, weaving in between cars, just doing the most, trying to not wait in traffic, being impatient. Now, an officer spots him and is trying to perform a traffic stop because you can't just do that out there on the beach. It's dangerous. You're speeding. Okay, I need you to pull over. Now, Abraham Eli is refusing to pull over. He is ignoring verbal commands. He's ignoring the officer. And as a matter of fact, he intentionally hits the officer with his bike and runs him over. Now, the officer was okay for the most part. He did get an injury to his leg that was quote unquote incapacitating, but he was able to get him off the bike, arrest him. Now he is in jail facing not one, but two felony offenses. You have aggravated assault and also resisting arrest with violence. Now, he thought he might be able to get diplomatic immunity because he's the son of Eli Gill, who is a consulate consul of Israel out there in Florida. But that's not how it worked. The State Department chimed in and said, no, okay, you're the son of this person. You're the dependent of this person, but that does not give you any civil or criminal immunity. So you will face charges. Now, I'm not quite sure if he's still in jail, if he was able to post bail or whatever. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, I got to address the elephant in the room. Some are going to say, well, look, ABL, if he was a criminal alien, then he could do whatever he wants. The same way they did in New York City when you had all those criminal aliens attacking the police officers at Times Square. Well, if he was in New York, it might be a little bit different. I covered the update to that story about the officers in Times Square yesterday. And there was a legal analyst on CNN who was saying that there's a gang of these criminal aliens in New York. What they do is a bunch of random crimes, not just the assault on the officers, but their main thing is theft, stealing iPhones and whatnot from people on the street using scooters. It's a whole ring of these guys. What they do is steal and spend the monies that they make from stealing down there in Florida rather than New York. And then one of the panelists or the host was asking, well, okay, if they're able to just leave and go to Florida, why not just stay down there? Why come back to New York? And then the analyst said, well, in Florida, you actually get arrested. You get locked up in Florida when you commit crimes. In New York City, you could do whatever you want. Because remember, in New York City, they attacked the officers and were let out basically immediately with no bail. So it was for nothing. And allegedly, these guys fled and went to California or some other country. But you can't do that in Florida, obviously, as this young man, Abraham Eli, is finding out. Now, before I go any further into it, let's get to the news clip. If you want to see the clip in full without my commentary, link, as always, will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit a link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
A teenager facing a judge accused of running over a police officer.
We're learning the suspect is the son of a diplomat, and his attorney says he has immunity. Local 10's Christian Eller.
Look, I'm not trying to see your crying face, sir. The crying face is not giving me any kind of feelings of sympathy for you. You hit a police officer with your motorcycle. You need to go to the penitentiary making big rocks, little rocks. I don't care about who you're the son of or where you guys come from, what your ethnicity is. I don't care if you're black, white, Puerto Rican, candy stripe. If you commit the crime, then do the time.
Larissa is live in Sunny Isles Beach with the exclusive. Christian.
These are very serious charges against this young man, but we're learning these charges may end up being dropped because his father works for the Israeli consulate here in Miami. But this
now they should not be dropped. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that part. He is being charged, but they shouldn't be dropped at all.
Supposed immunity is under question tonight. This is 19-year-old Abraham Gill's mugshot. He was arrested after police say he ran over a cop. Sunny Isles Beach police say it happened over the weekend. The police report says an officer was conducting a traffic stop on Collins Avenue near 174th Street. The officer reportedly spotted Gill on a motorcycle weaving in and out of traffic and gave him loud, verbal, lawful commands to stop. The officer claiming not only did Gill ignore him, he says the young man on the motorcycle intentionally ran him over. The policeman survived, but detectives say his leg was incapacitated. Gill was arrested and charged for resisting an officer with violence and aggravated assault on a cop. But when he got to court, they let him go home.
Mr. Gill is a diplomat son. He has consular immunity.
Turns out Gill is the son of Eli Gill, a consul for administration under the Consulate General for Israel in Miami. His attorney claiming therefore he has something called consular immunity from criminal jurisdictions.
Immunity that's given to diplomats and their families when they're stationed here in the United States.
But this immunity privilege may not apply to all categories of diplomatic workers and their families, says legal analyst David Weinstein.
Diplomatic immunity is not given to people who are called consular officials. And those are people who are not the head diplomatic agent of a foreign country here in the.
That is correct. And that's what the State Department said. Eli Gill is a consulate consul. He is not like the head person. So he does not have that actual protection.
United States. So there is a distinction.
So we've been reaching out to the Israeli consulate here in Miami for their reaction and to ask them directly if they believe this consular immunity applies in this case. So far, their comment has been no comment. Live in Sunny Isles Beach, I'm Christian De La Rosa, Local 10 News.
So there we have it. That's what's happening out there in Miami, Florida, Sunny Isles Beach. You have the son of a consulate consul, which some may say is a diplomat, but not quite. Not quite in the way of being able to get protection. But he shouldn't have been let out. I mean, you hit an officer with a police, you hit a police officer with a bike, like you run him over and you are able to just go. And my question would be, where did he go? Does he have dual citizenship? Is he able to go back to Israel? Is he able to flee? Does he have his passport still? I'm sure he has a passport. I mean, come on. But as I close, I want to say this. I mean, I don't think there should be any kind of immunity when you do things like this. Now, certain little things, I mean, I guess that's one thing. It depends on the situation. But something like this, I mean, nah. And really, if you're over here, I won't even say certain little things. I would say anything. If you're over here, you need to abide by the laws. I don't care who you are. But we know that there's a system in place. It's 2-tier, 3-tier, 4-tier justice system, where if you are a regular normie, a regular person with no kind of contacts on the inside, no ability to kind of get yourself out of it, no get out of jail free card, then you get sent to the penitentiary, big rocks, little rocks, for having a joint of weed in your car. But if you are a crack smoker, smoke crack with a pistol, record yourself, all that kind of stuff, you can do whatever you want to do. You can get called to court and say, no, I ain't going to do that. Here's my requirements. I'm going to negotiate the terms of me even coming to court. Meanwhile, if you're a regular person denying a subpoena, well, you might get sent to the joint just for that. That's kind of how it works in this country, unfortunately, and it shouldn't be like that. It's really unfair. It's ridiculous. And especially for things like this, violent crime. No, man, you need to go away. I don't care. Again, I don't care what your ethnicity is. I don't care that he's part of the tribe. I don't care if he's white, black, Puerto Rican, Kennedy stripe, from the Indian subcontinent, from Japan, from Mars, or whatever. You in this country abide by our laws. And that goes for the criminal aliens, the asylum seekers, whatever they want to call themselves. If you're over here, abide by our laws. When in Rome, do as the Romans. And if you don't want to do that, then go back over there rather than staying here. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what's happening here? Do you think that Abraham Eli should be able to get immunity from running over a police officer because he's a son of a consulate consul of the Israelis in Miami, Florida? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. He should 100% not be able to get that kind of immunity. Look, you do the crime, do the time. It's really as simple as that. Ain't no really ifs, ands, or buts. And whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.